What if you wanted to exit a Python program early, or indicate an error while exiting? This program is called fixme.py, and it accepts a directory name and validates that none of the .py files in that directory contain the string fixme in all caps. So if we run this against our random names directory, it prints out that it found 2 files that contain the string fixme. Now, right now, if we run this program with a directory that doesn't exist, it prints out 0 files with fixme, which doesn't really make sense. It should probably print out an error instead. So we're going to check to make sure that the given directory exists. If it doesn't exist, we're going to print out an error message, and then we're going to exit our program using the sys.exit function. So now when we run this again, we'll see /home/unicorn is not a directory, and then our program exits. Now the way we're exiting here isn't really ideal. The reason is system command prompts on pretty much all operating systems have an && operator that can run another command if the first command was successful. So we're going to print out to our screen success only if the program that ran before us exited successfully. Right now, it looks to our system command prompt like it did exit successfully, but it really shouldn't have, because this was an error. So sys.exit by default exits with an exit code of 0. Now, operating systems pretty much all agree that the exit code 0 means success, and an exit code besides 0 means failure. So let's exit with 1. That doesn't print success this time. So whenever you're trying to exit with an error from your program, you want to indicate an error occurred, call sys.exit with a number besides 0. And in fact, when you're printing and then exiting right afterward, there's actually a shorter way to do this. You can just call sys.exit with the string that you're trying to print. Sys.exit will print out that string and exit with the code 1 automatically. Because this is such a common thing to do, they just built it into the sys.exit function. One other thing you'll sometimes see Python programmers do is call sys.exit, passing it a boolean. So here we're going to pass it bool of fixmes. We're converting this number to a boolean, and then passing that to sys.exit. Now, in Python, the bool function, when you give it a number, if that number is 0, it gives you false. If it's anything else, it gives you true. False in Python is actually equal to the number 0, and true is equal to the number 1. A little bit strange, but booleans actually are kind of a subset of integers. False is 0, true is 1. So what this really means is if we had no fixmes, sys.exit with 0. If we had any fixmes, sys.exit with the error code 1. So pipe at our system command prompt should basically make it so that we'll print error only if an error occurred, only if the command before us exited with an error, not successfully. Right now we print error. Before, we wouldn't have printed error. So this bool, why can't we just take bool out entirely? After all, we already have an integer. Sys.exit accepts an integer. If it's 0, it's success. If it's not 0, it's 1. Now, the problem is that some systems actually have undefined behavior if you give sys.exit an integer that is above 127. So only the exit codes 0 to 127 are well defined. That's the reason you see people do this bool conversion here. Instead of giving any integer that it could possibly be, even if there were a whole bunch of fixmes, they always convert it to a boolean here, giving either 0 or 1. You might sometimes also see Python programmers call exit instead of sys.exit. This is actually a potential bug in your code. It does work, but it might not always work. So you can actually pass to Python a -s flag that makes the exit built-in not actually exist. This function is intended to be used from the Python REPL, not inside a Python program. Sys.exit is the way we exit in a running Python program. There is one more way to exit though. Instead of calling sys.exit, you could raise a SystemExit exception. It actually does the exact same thing. So if you prefer this style, you're welcome to use it. I will say that raising a SystemExit exception is a little bit less common to see in Python code than calling the sys.exit function. If you want to exit a Python program early, you can call the sys.exit function or raise a SystemExit exception. If you're trying to indicate an error code while exiting, you could pass sys.exit a number from 1 to 127. 0 indicates success, 1 to 127 indicate error, or you could give it a string. If you give sys.exit or the SystemExit exception a string, it'll print it out and then exit with the error code 1.